Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Canadian Passive Investing Show. I'm your host, 𝗖𝗑𝗫 𝗖𝗽, and I'm joined by my co-host, August Biniaz. We have another incredible show for you today. If you could please like and subscribe, as it helps us build our channel and allows us to keep bringing you great content and expert guest speakers. Our mission is to empower investors to earn passive income through real estate investing. So today we are joined by Chris Hanna. A little bit about Chris. For almost 20 years, Chris has built and led game-changing cultures and award-winning teams. He's been a leadership speaker, coach, consultant, podcast host. Chris is the CEO of Cashflow Tribe, a Canadian company helping real estate investors and entrepreneurs create substantial businesses and achieve results via online learnings, tools, and community. They are dedicated to assisting people in knocking down barriers that hold people back from reaching their full potential and realizing financial freedom, flexibility, and fulfillment. How incredible.
And we had a pleasure on speaking on their platform once and was great.
It was incredible.
Awesome.
A lot of people showed up.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, we believe this interview with Chris will bring great value to both passive and active investors on how investing in yourself first could be the best investment ever made. So welcome, Chris.
Welcome, Chris.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Chris, let's just get right into it. Please tell us about your background and your start in real estate.
Yeah, so as you said in your intro, for the last 20 years, I've been building and leading teams across a variety of industries. I started in the rental car industry when I graduated from university. I was in IT. In the last year or so, I've been with Cashflow Tribe. And it's been a unique ride going in all these different industries and getting an opportunity to lead and build out these groups. And with Cashflow Tribe in particular, that's where I really got that exposure to more of the real estate investing side and seeing the power of what it can do from not only just whether you're an active or a passive investor and how it can really start to really transform it and change your life with the community and the customers that we've got within Cashflow Tribe. It's remarkable just to see the opportunities, and really it opens up this world of being able to pay attention to what's going on around you even a lot more when you're invested and you're connected to real estate as well. So it's been such an amazing ride over the last couple of years, in particular with Cashflow Tribe and getting to learn more about this space.
Awesome. I guess the next question follows up right behind this one.
Absolutely. And what was it about real estate investing that differentiates it from other types of investments?
I think that there is such an opportunity to look, depending on your strategy, if you're going to want to go, long term or short term. So you can really, depending on the strategies that are available, and a lot of people don't know that there's so many different types of real estate strategies. You just have to ultimately, decide what's going to be the best for you. And it just opens up doors and opportunities to partner with more people, or you can try and go solo and do it yourself. I know with CPI Capital, there's lots of opportunities for people to kind of come together, and the power of coming together as a collective unit and partnering, right? So I think real estate investing it doesn't have to be just a solo game. And I think that's what makes it so interesting as an opportunity for so many folks, where they can ultimately partner together and continue to achieve wealth, and not just, wealth for themselves, but in a way, generational wealth. Yeah. And the opportunities to continue to make even a bigger impact. It opens up, I think, a more substantial return, as opposed to just relying on maybe investing in stocks, or maybe just going with the crypto side and going a little bit more speculative, right? Real estate, it's been around. They're not making any more land, but there's obviously lots of places where you can continue to develop and invest in them and continue just to grow and put your money in something that you're always going to need. Real estate is always going to be needed.
Yes.
Yeah,
Great
absolutely.
point you're bringing. Yeah, real estate, it is an ecosystem. There's a lot of different business models within real estate. Yes, you can buy a property, investment property, and rent it out to have income coming in. But there's other ways to invest within this ecosystem. There's REITs, there are mortgage investment corporations, there's private lending, there is private equity firms like us where we use a syndication model. There's different asset classes, property types. So it is vast, and great point that you brought that up.
Yeah, and I really wanted to touch on another point you brought up, and that's coming together with others, right? You don't have to do it alone. And then that's something that I wanted to highlight, because you can joint venture it or go through a syndication
Absolutely.
model and really try to build wealth that way. And you're not stuck alone trying to do it all by yourself. So that's really key.
Absolutely.
Well, I think related to that too is the importance of you don't have to just put up all your own money too.
Exactly. Yeah.
The power of other people's money and being able to leverage that is so critical and important to eventually start to do this at scale. A lot of people think that you just need to do it by just, buying a place and renting it out and just being kind of a landlord, but there's so many other strategies and ways to do it. And I think it's being surrounded by like-minded individuals. It's going to help you see the potential. And that's what I think is really great about real estate investing.
And Cashflow Tribe talks about all that, I'm sure, right? People come
Absolutely.
to the calls with different opportunities. Hey, I got this, I got that. And then you guys come, I want to be part of that. I want to be part of that. So you got your options just expand by being part of something with like-minded individuals.
The name is in it, tribe, right?
Yeah.
It's that tribe that you can get together and, help each other and learn from each other and learn from other experts.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the power of community, right? Like, that's what it's all about. That's one of our core values.
We'll get into Cashflow Tribe. Don't let us lose our question that's coming up here. But
so here
give us one quick moment.
So let's highlight, Chris. You're a coach, a consultant, and a podcast host, right? We want to know, how did you start in thought leadership? Like, what do you enjoy most about coaching?
Well, I think it's the opportunity to make an impact. I think that's what I the most enjoy. So if I take you back down memory lane a little bit. So I was in the corporate world for about 10 years. And at a certain point, you start to kind of feel like you're just kind of going through the emotions and you kind of wanted something more, right? And that's how at least I felt. And so in November of 2018, I sat down and I wrote out some goals for myself by answering this one question. What would I regret not doing? I figured if I was like 100 years old and I look back on my life and my career, what would I regret not having done? And I made the list of all these different goals that I wanted to do. And it's funny, a lot of them were, I wanted to speak in an event in Las Vegas. I wanted to create my own podcast. I wanted to do more coaching. And I had all these things that I wanted to do. And so I listed them out and I said, I'm just going to find a way now to make sure I live a life with no regrets. And so each of these things that I put on my wall, I put these sticky notes on my wall, I'm going to take them and I'm going to do whatever I can to make that happen, which meant I needed to invest heavily in myself and my personal and professional development. I need to network and I need to mentor with people to ultimately knock those goals off and crush those goals literally. And so it started from there. And then that led me to wanting to do more coaching to kind of help people in this space. And I was always more on the leadership side of the things that I would talk about from a speaking engagement perspective. And it would just be, how can I help improve the employee experience for other people? Because, I've been in the corporate world and I've worked in the rental car business and I've seen a lot of things. How can I bring that back to make sure I'm providing some of that additional value? And it just started though with that one question I asked myself in a cold November day in 2018. And I just realized there's something here about that power of regret and then just taking action. And it went from there. Yeah,
it wasn't only asking that question from yourself, but it seemed very strategic. It seems like it was a blueprint where you say, "Hey, what is it in life that I don't want to miss out on?" But where did that concept or idea come about? Because in itself, it looks very strategic.
Well, I think at that point I started to realize like I needed some sort of change in my life, and I think it was I might have heard it in a podcast somewhere, or read it in a book. As I started doing more, just investing in myself, that question somehow just came about. And I just thought, I don't want to live with regret. I gotta live on my terms. Mm-hmm. And so that question it took off from there. Yeah, it's incredible.
I love that. Yeah. I love that.
I went through a similar step in my life, and very, very similarly, I came to realize the things that I didn't want to miss out on. Yeah. And the sports was a big part of it. I always loved boxing, and I had never boxed, and my dad had boxed. So in my late 20s, I got into boxing. And when I called the boxing coach, and I'm like, I think I was 30 years old. He's like, "Hey, you're too old, man. You can't be coming to my gym." He ended up training me, and I ended up having a few fights. But it was something that I'm like, I can't go through. I'm going to have a big regret that I've never boxed before. So it was, and then other aspects of it. But it definitely resonates what you're saying.
But that's really cool. You got to write down. I was
just going to say, you have to write down your goals. That's the critical part, right? But it all comes down to this like concept of time, and that we only have so much time available, right? And so we got to maximize and use the time that we have the best way we possibly can. When I was a kid, I used to do, a lot of public speaking and, those competitions that you do in school, right? And then I kind of got rid of that, and I stopped doing that in like high school and university. And I was like, I want to go back to the things I'm super passionate about. And that is being able to help and teach and educate. And that's where it can happen from there.
And it comes natural for you, and you have that ability to do that, right? So it's a natural kind of ability that you can take advantage of and make the world a better place.
Well, we all need to go into what our talents are and just go all in those strengths, right? That's the fastest way to move.
Yeah, yeah. Now that leads me to the next point, and I want to discuss personal development, okay? Because coming from two people who have made a tremendous progress in personal development, and we both firsthand have experience in how important reinventing ourselves are. I went through a big reinvention myself. Maybe you could talk to us about this topic, and maybe start with what is the first step someone can take to begin their journey on self-improvement?
Well, it kind of goes back to what we just last talked about. I think it starts with goals. There's this piece that like you have to be able to, know what you're going after. But I guess I'll step one further back. You actually need to know your why. What actually is what drives you and what motivates you? What gives you that sense of purpose? When you figure out what that why is, and you can go through many different exercises, right? Like the most popular one that I use quite often is the 7 levels deep with 𝗖𝗣𝗜 𝗖𝗽𝗶𝘁, where you start to, ask yourself, that question of, what you're trying to go after. And you keep asking yourself why 7 times until you get to the very end. And that's going to be your true why in determining what your purpose is. And it can get to a very emotional response for yourself. Then you start to go into developing those goals. Now, I'm a big believer in like, you want to set obviously your SMART goals, make sure it's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. In addition to setting what I call the BHAG goals, your big, hairy, audacious goal, the big thing that people think you're crazy for going after, but long-term, that's the thing that you truly want. You have to do that. And when you start to put all those pieces together, you start to develop that blueprint or that roadmap to start to, how to start to invest in yourself, how to do things the right way. Whether you're an investor, or you're an entrepreneur, or you're aspiring business owner, there's one thing that's true more than anything else is that those who learn are the ones who earn.
Yes. Yeah,
Well
absolutely.
I'm sure you both can attest to that, right? Like
Yeah.
the more that you invested in yourself and reinvented yourselves, the more successful you became.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? You said something there, and I heard this somewhere else, and they said, if you tell somebody what your goals are and they don't look at you like you're crazy, then you're putting a cap on your dreams and goals, right? Because they're not big enough. So I heard that somewhere. So that's a really good point. Yeah.
Awesome.
Incredible.
Awesome. No,
inspiring.
it is.
I love it. I love the
You
conversation.
always want to tell your goals to someone else, I find, because that also gives you a level of accountability.
Yes. Good point.
Because they can hold you accountable. For the longest time, I kept saying I wanted to do a podcast. It wasn't until I told someone else that, and then I kept saying it, that then they pushed me to say, well, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, hey, you said you were going to do this. What's going on?
So like, if you could put your goals out there on social media, and maybe your community could, help you hold you accountable, or your family, your friends, but like make those goals, but tell people about them. Don't just keep them. I think far too often people do that.
Incredible. Awesome, Chris. Okay, well, we want to touch that. You're the CEO of Cashflow Tribe. Love the shirt, by the way. Let's talk about what is Cashflow Tribe, and tell us more about your group, please.
Sure. So Cashflow Tribe, we started in November of 2019. And initially it was to fill a spot is just like real estate education in Canada. We did a lot through more community and events. Like every other business, COVID hits in 2020, we got to go more virtual. So as we went virtual, we started doing more online events, started offering more tools and resources. And what's really unique about Cashflow Tribe, and we got about 4,000 or so members right now within our community across Canada, started to realize that there's just even further opportunity to really take a look at how we work with just real estate investors and help them actually turn this into more of a business so that they can actually escape the 9-to-5 grind, so they can actually have more control and live life on their terms. And that's when we start talking a lot more about financial freedom and that flexibility and fulfillment, is because most people who kept continuing to come to us looking for that help to figure out is real estate the path for them, is that they really were lacking that control over their lives. Like so many people over the last couple of years, right, impacted with job losses or layoffs. This is the opportunity to say, hey, I can maybe live life on my terms by starting to create a real estate portfolio, or to maybe go into private lending, or to follow another strategy like Airbnb, right? So people started to use that. So what we're doing as a company is really continuing to go all in, and how do we continue to support people through this journey with regular monthly webinars and events, weekly coaching and training and mentorship as part of our council offering. It's all around that space to continue to help people become the best entrepreneur and facilitate deals for them.
It's amazing because, talk about filling a vacuum. you know, I've heard about a lot of different platforms that educate investors to make their first investment or get into multifamily or scale, but a platform that actually helps people make a transition from their day job into creating a real estate company, a functional cash flowing real estate company with resources. So I think it was a Cash Flow Tribe would have been a useful thing for us when we were making that transition.
Because that's the ultimate support that you need, right? Because it's fear that gets in most people's way. They're like, holy man, I can't do this. I can't leave my job. I have bills to pay. There's this such amount of fear where they just stop themselves. So with you guys, you kind of hold them through the process, I guess, and you kind of say, hey, this is the next step you got to take to get here, and just take step by step.
Well, I think that's what makes us unique with Cash Flow Tribe is it's so much based on the mindset. And so we do a lot in that space. And that's what really appealed to me when we talked about the company coming in, is that like, it's so personal development focused and creating the right mindset. Like I just spent a week in San Diego with a lot of our core customers, and just to be able to see the transformations and hear the stories of people who not only like 10x, you know, their initial investment, but were able to just, you know, create businesses that they don't have to be stuck in either. We're finding ways to help them just create something that's scalable because they now believe and they have the confidence in themselves, because it's all about creating that momentum, right? You get your first deal, you get some confidence, you maybe partner with somebody else, get your next deal, and you get that machine humming. You're in a lot better place and a headspace too.
Yeah, and you have the support, right? The support is a big deal too.
No, you said San Diego. Are you guys currently servicing, people in Canada and the US?
So right now it's just in Canada, but we had a retreat. Our founder was holding a retreat down there with a lot of our customers who were down there as well. But stay tuned for more stuff and maybe.
All right. Awesome.
Right
Now,
on.
one more thing about this. What we've realized in building a real estate private equity from the ground up, Ava and I and our team, is that marketing side of it is a huge part of it, kind of that brand building. Do you assist people, part of your program, in those aspects as well? Is it mainly mindset, or do you assist them with saying, hey, this is a strategy you need to take? If you're great at being on the camera, or if you're great at being on a podcast, or if you're great at creating content, it needs to be a whole slew of different marketing strategies to create a brand around your company. Do you get involved in that part of it as well?
So there's trainings and stuff that we've been offering in that space, right? Like we bring in different guest speakers. Like obviously you're both, we're on and as guest speakers with us as well, but we've brought in marketing experts, and we're looking to bring in even more in terms of more of like a bit of a done for you or done with you type of service to continue to help a lot of our customers take it that to the next level, because marketing is key.
Yes.
To get your messaging out there, to pitch, to raise for money, or just even get your brand awareness out there. I do a lot of the one-to-one mentorship within the council side on the business building side as well. And so a lot of people will talk to me about, how to market or what to do from a social perspective, or how to just get comfortable on camera as well.
Amazing.
Very cool.
Amazing.
Okay,
great.
Chris.
But I have a bunch of other questions. There's so many questions. I just want to know, so what is the process for people to, we have those questions about how people can get in touch with you, but particularly with Cash Flow Tribe, what is the best way somebody can get in touch, and what does the membership look like? I mean, you don't have to give exact numbers, but prices, but is it reasonable? Is it affordable? I know there's mentorship programs in the US that are like $75,000 to join, $25,000, $30,000. What does it look like to be a member of the Cash Flow Tribe?
So we've got a few different options, right? So a lot of people can start with a 14-day free trial with us to kind of get used to the platform, get used to the community, join the Facebook group as an example. That's $59 a month after the 14 days. But then there's other people who come in and they join our real estate accelerator program, where it's 6 weeks, you kind of, fast pace, cut your learning curve in half. We're going to give you all the strategies and tips to make sure that you understand how to get that first deal with the support and the community of group coaching. So you're looking there, and that's about a $10,000 price tag for that 6 weeks. And then a lot of people then go for our mentorship program, and that's called Counsel. And that's a 1-year program. You're looking at about 30 grand for the course of the year, and you're getting one-to-one mentorship from a lot of real estate experts or business, experts like myself. You're going to get the group training. You've got weekly sessions, guest speakers that come in, a whole library of on-demand courses and resources as well. But they can find everything through just visiting cashflowtribe.com.
Amazing.
Nice.
Amazing. Yeah.
And then you got the forums to, you know, share your interest and connect with us as well.
And
Yes.
then you got the connections.
100%.
That you
100%. And one item from a real estate veteran who's been in this business for 16 years, I tell you, the best thing you could do is surround yourself with the right people and having a team, a group around you, because you get it gets accelerated. You learn so many things, not through blood, sweat, and tears, but rather, I use a boxing analogy, but rather by, you know, experiences that your team had. So I you know, I'm 10K, you know, that very reasonable. And that's Canadian dollars, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah,
on.
great. Awesome.
Right on.
Cool. So let's kind of go. This is kind of a question for us. We want to kind of, you know,
Don't tell them our secrets. So Chris, we want to talk about, and we want to chat about team building.
Sure.
Okay. Currently at CPI Capital is in the process of growing, and we're building our team, right? So what advice do you have for a startup looking to grow, and who should be the first employee hired?
Those are two questions, and I'll answer the first one first. I'll say is, if you haven't already defined them, make sure you've got your core values set.
Right.
Your core values are so critical because I call them the decision maker in your business. If you're trying to decide of, you know, what to do or who to bring in or initiative to follow, you got to ask, does it actually go against, or is it in support of your core values, the things that are going to matter most to you? So at CPI Capital, do you have core values already defined?
We do.
Yeah. What are those core values that you have?
You
Putting you on the spot.
We literally just wrote them down. Oh gosh, I'm gonna think.
Yeah. So
Transparency.
Yeah.
And communication.
Yes.
Then there was
Yeah, communication, the timing. There was a few.
oh gosh, Chris,
Sorry, I put you on the spot
just,
there.
Literally just wrote them down.
Well, transparency, like that, let's pick that one. Like that, we share that as well. So transparency is one of our core values that we have.
Okay.
Nice,
Okay.
nice.
And so it's a good one to really think about, is like, is everyone being transparent? And in that perspective, we look at it as brutal honesty, even when it's complicated. You're going to be able to move faster, quicker by making sure that everyone is comfortable with being transparent within the organization.
Yes, very.
Right. So it's so critical to sit there and look. So when I hire or when I interview somebody, I'm oftentimes asking them, I'm probably giving away an interview question here, but I'm asking them like, hey, here's our core values.
Yeah.
How would you prioritize them?
Okay.
To kind of start to understand, like, where's their headspace at? Like, what do they value more than anything else?
Really cool.
And you get, obviously there's no wrong answer, but you get a variety of different perspectives on it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that's critical. So the other question about who you should hire first, marketing is so critical. So you do have to make sure that you have somebody who's like really strong from a marketing perspective in there. It's probably the hardest role to keep and retain, in my experience, whether it's in our current business or in other businesses I've been in. Marketing is really hard. But sales, at the end of the day, every business has got a sales component to it. So you really need to be able to generate sales. It's the chicken and the egg, though. Who comes first, sales or marketing, is always the big challenge.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But if you're going to hire anybody, you've got to make sure that they are trained the right way. So if you don't have, again, that core values, you don't got a strong onboarding experience for that first 14 days, people aren't going to be successful, regardless of what role they're in.
Yeah. Hire slow, fire fast.
Yes, exactly.
But hire slow.
Awesome.
Okay. Last question before we get into the next segment of our show. And that is, what advice do you have to a passive investor looking to start investing in real estate private equity?
I think the biggest piece of advice I could give is, it's kind of what we talked about before, but like, get yourself in the right room with the right people, get a mentor, get someone that you can connect with to help you through that process. So you're not trying to do it all by yourself, because you'll be able to move faster, quicker, have better results if you get in the room with the right people that are there to help you. They might give you maybe some money to help with a deal and help fund something, might give you a different idea, different perspective, but you got to surround yourself with the right people. That's critical.
Get your tribe, guys. Get your tribe.
There you go.
Okay, here we go.
Awesome. Really appreciate all the stuff you said. So let's get to the next segment of our show.
The 10 championship rounds to financial freedom. So whatever comes top of mind, okay? Here's the first question. Who was the most influential person in your life?
I'd say my mom. My mom was always there for us three boys. I'm the oldest of three, and she just worked so hard. And I come from a very small community, maybe 300 people on a good day, and everyone's related to everybody. So you kind of know everything that kind of happens in that community. So like my mom was just always there to help support so many different people. And she just always encouraged us and always kind of said the same line that's featured in the Back to the Future movies, is that if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. And just, I think that helps just build that confidence. So my mom.
Incredible. All right. What is the #1 book you'd recommend?
I would say The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. I read that book so many times. I've also just listened to the audio version of it. Every time I pick up a different perspective. And I think I read that book another time around when I talked about that in November 2018, where I came up with those goals, because I realized there's a different way to live life. You don't have to be working a 40+ hour work week. You can achieve a lot more by just prioritizing on the right stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
That book is amazing.
Absolutely.
Gotta read that book. Everybody keeps saying.
Everybody saying. We've heard it many times, even on our show here as well.
All right. Chris, if you had the opportunity to travel back in time, what advice would you give your younger self?
Be patient. I am someone who always just wants to move so fast all the time. But sometimes when you move so fast, you might break things, or things might not go your way. I think I would tell myself, Chris, it's okay to, let things go a little slowly sometimes, just to make sure that things are done the right way. Have some fun along the way too. I guess that'd be the other thing I would say as well. Don't always just take yourself so seriously. Be patient, but have fun.
Absolutely.
Nice. All right. What's the best investment you've ever made?
In myself. I think the best investment I ever truly made was in myself when we started attending the right courses, conferences, being around the right people, because that opened my eyes to the possibilities. And that led to further connections, which then leads to more deals and growth more than anything else. But if I didn't take that first step and invest in myself and just kind of get out of my, my headspace and environment, I wouldn't have been able to be successful.
Absolutely. Awesome. Awesome. Now, what's the worst investment you've ever made, and what lessons did you learn from it?
Let's see. The worst investment I've ever made. I think this might sound a little lame, but I think the worst investments I ever made was when I first started actually investing in the stock market. I started going crazy with investing, and I would panic sell all the time when I first started, because I had no idea what I was doing. And I got super nervous all the time about, oh, this is now dropping, 5-10% or whatever it's going to be. And I started losing a lot of money because I didn't know what I was doing. I needed to surround myself with the right people and pick up the resources that I ultimately needed.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a double-edged sword with stocks, because it's very liquid, but it could cause issues, and your emotions and emotions gets in the way rather than logic.
Absolutely. So how couldn't it though, right? You're like, oh my gosh, there's been a big drop. Yeah.
Well, like now with the markets the way they've been, with everything going on in the world over the last while, now it doesn't faze me, right? Things go up and down, you can ride it out. But before, when you first start and you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, Chris, how much would you need in the bank to retire today? What's your number?
Good question. I've not actually thought about that one yet.
It's a difficult one.
It is that's a tough question, because back in the day you could say like, $1 million to do it. $1 million doesn't do it for you now at all. It doesn't do anything, right? But that's like what the average price of a home out in BC, probably just like a
1.2.
1.2 now. Okay, I thought it was just around the 1. Yeah, I think the number I'd be looking for would at least be 5 or 6 at a minimum, but I'd still want to be still doing something. I don't think I could fully ever retire, to be honest with you, just because I just can't sit still.
And you're happy doing what you do. It's not work for you, right? You're like,
what's the thing? If it doesn't feel like work, it's great.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, next question. If you could have dinner with someone dead or alive, who would it be?
Dead or alive? Because I love personal development so much, and I think I've watched so many of his courses, I would love to have dinner with Tony Robbins.
Okay, nice.
I would absolutely love that. Like, he's got such energy, and I just think that like the amount of inspiration that he's had, like that's the one event that I've never gone to. I've attended virtual stuff, but I've never gone to a live. That's what I would love to be able to do. Just sit down and have dinner with the man. I think that'd be phenomenal.
A live event, Tony Robbins, everybody's dancing or jumping,
walking through the fire. Like I'd love to try that.
Nice. Nice. All right. If you weren't doing what you're doing today, what would you be doing now?
I'd love to be an actor.
An actor. Cool.
Actor.
Nice.
Because when I was a kid, I used to do all the plays and stuff like that. So I would love to be an actor, to entertain, really produce a lot more of that content. Just to be a different character, like I think is pretty fun. So like Halloween, when happened with my company, like we turn on the camera, I'm dressed up in a costume. The next meeting, I'm in a different costume. The next one after that, and everyone's like, "What the heck's going on with Chris?" I'm like, "I just would like to play a role." So I would love to be an actor.
You need to leverage that, brother, and make some lot of video content for your company and others. You know, you got to get
Absolutely.
out there, man.
I have them all written down. I need to sit there and just start gang style shooting, record, and just go.
Yeah,
100.
yeah. Just take the time to just get it done. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, book smarts or street smarts?
I'd say street smarts. And I say street smarts in the sense that, how do I say this right? Yes, you know, I have a university degree, but I don't really fully leverage that. Like, I'm not taking a lot from what I learned in university. I'm taking from the experiences that I've learned throughout my life in my career, not the book side of things. Like, yes, I can, you know, I've, you know, educated or whatever, but you pick up more just from talking to other people and learning from others.
Yeah.
Education, in some respects, might be controversial to say. It helps you get your first job, maybe, but after that, it's the experiences that you learn, and that comes from the street.
Right on.
Absolutely.
All right, last question, Chris. If you had $1 million cash and you had to make one investment today, what would it be?
Because I've been recently down there, I would definitely be investing in some Airbnb, like luxury properties in Las Vegas or in a nice southern state. There's so much opportunity down there, especially in Las Vegas, with, you know, the Golden Knights, the Legion Stadium, with the Raiders. There's more, you know, sports stuff that's happening in there. So like, I think that southern US market, there's so much that you can do. And like the type of property and the demand, I think that there's so much growth down there right now. So I've been really scouting in that area right now. So I would definitely go there.
Awesome. Awesome. I might invest with you. And because of the rental yields, I mean, for short-term rentals, you know, a nice mansion in Nevada, close to the strip, you know, with a pool and everything, you know, the renting it for a couple of weekends, you've paid your mortgage for a whole month already.
Incredible.
I just flew back from there yesterday, and I was seeing like there's lots of opportunity.
So much opportunity. Incredible. Awesome, Chris. What's the best way that people can reach you?
So they can follow me on social media, Chris Hanna Show, which is also the name of my podcast. It's available on Spotify and all the podcast directories that you have available. And if they want to directly get in touch with me about Cashflow Tribe, easiest email, chris@cashflowtribe.com.
Awesome.
Right
awesome.
on. Thanks so much for being here today. We had a lot of insight.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to getting you on. Really happy to hear about Cashflow Tribe. Really happy what you're doing there and educating others and motivating others and actually helping them fundamentally to create a real estate company. That's really amazing.
Making the world a better place.
Really appreciate you having me on. This has been fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris.